And welcome, rugby fans, to Rugby411. This is my pick'em video for MLR week number 3. And man, this is going to be a really interesting week. A lot of tough games to pick. After we go through my picks, we will then also look at the SuperBru, Rugby411 MLR pick'em pool and see who is on top in the pick'em pool and how the week 2 results were. Let's say that there is a new number 1 person at top of the SuperBru pool. So for those who haven't checked the pool results, you'll be in for a treat. But let's begin. We have Friday night rugby action. Friday, February 18th, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. All of these times are going to be Pacific Standard Time. We have the New England Free Jacks visiting Old Glory DC at Segra Field. You know, this was kind of an interesting one to pick. I have to say, as much as I think the Free Jacks will kind of struggle this season, man, Old Glory, if you looked at my power rankings video, Old Glory has just not been going very well so far. And granted, it's only been 2 weeks, but man, they've been giving up 50-plus points to opponents. I don't think the Free Jacks will score that much, but I also don't think Old Glory will shore up those holes in their defense. So I'm going with the Free Jacks for the win in this game on Friday. Moving on to Saturday action, we have Saturday, February 19th, 12 p.m. kickoff time, again, Pacific Standard Time. This is going to be a pretty fun game. Two powerhouses in the East. We have Rooney at Atlanta Rugby ATL. This is a rematch from last year's semifinal Eastern Conference Championship game. In that one, Atlanta walked away with the win. You know, preseason, and especially with what just happened at the beginning of the season with ATL's, some of the changes with the head coaching, and of course the loss of Jeremy Misaleglo, you know, I had Rooney winning this one, but I've kind of changed my mind. Now, granted, Atlanta definitely looked not Atlanta-like in their game in week 2, but Rooney also kind of had some, missteps in week number 1 in their game against Houston. I'm kind of playing with the home field advantage here. This is going to be at Silverback Stadium for Atlanta. They have a diehard crowd for the Rattlers. So I'm changing my pick for my preseason prediction, and I'm going with what I ended up choosing is that Atlanta will once again walk away with the win in this very strong rivalry in the Eastern Conference. But, this is a game, one of many in week number 3, that I'm not going to be surprised if it goes the other way. Moving on throughout the day, Saturday, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we have another interesting game. Utah Warriors going over to play against the Austin Gale Gronies, my power ranking number 1 team. Man, I really want Utah to win this game just because of the way last week's game ended for them, but Austin's just been looking way too strong, and Utah has been having some issues, not getting Mikey Teo to play. I don't know the status about Mika Kruse as of this time. He was injured for last week's game. That's a big weapon that they're losing without having Mika Kruse involved, so, I gotta go with Austin on this one, and I think, honestly, Austin will kind of be dominant in this game unless Utah really does something to get Mikey Teo back into the game. Moving on with the rest of the games in week number 3, also Saturday, February 19th, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the very first game in the Dallas Jackals home stadium in Choctaw. Houston SaberCats going down to Dallas to play against the Dallas Jackals. Now, man, again, kind of want the Dallas Jackals to win this one. They've been looking really impressive for a team that's just started. And Houston has been a little interesting, but I think Houston will get back on the right track here. They're not going very far to go to Dallas. Again, they have more talent on this team than Dallas does, though there are some really impressive players with Dallas. I'm going to go with Houston to win this one. Also at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time is going to be the Toronto Arrows going down to the gold mine to play against NOLA. Third home game for NOLA. So far, haven't had much success. Toronto still on the longest road trip in the history of Major League Sports. I feel, even though NOLA showed a little bit more life in last week's game, again, I'm not predicting NOLA to do very well. They've just lost too many pieces, and it's really, really apparent in their games. Toronto, I think, has a little bit stronger team, so I'm going to go with the Arrows on this one. And then finally, Sunday, the only game we have, February 20th, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time kickoff. Another great game, another great rivalry. The Seattle Seawolves taking on the San Diego Legion. This is a continuation of the rivalry between two teams that fought over the MLR championship in year number 2. Seattle walked away, of course, with that title. 2 undefeated teams so far in the young MLR season. Seattle's been looking great with the reestablishment of the seawall. Legion have been doing pretty well, for the most part. I'm very curious to see how Seattle does now away from home. They played their 2 games at home at Starfire. I feel that there is a big difference from Seattle playing at home to playing away. San Diego is looking still pretty good at home. So I'm going to give the home field advantage the push, and that means San Diego walks away with the victory. And now you can see we have our SuperBru pick'em results for round number 2. And man, congratulations to all J Long, best picks of the week. Got them all correct. Granted, so did Aguera, Harry, and Scary Larry Rugby. They got their picks as well, but all J Long, the difference was his bonus points, which gave him 12 points. Aguera with 10, 9.5 for both Harry and Scary Larry. And then I'm pretty bad at this, Yeah, you got 7 along with me. Unfortunately, I got one of the picks wrong, so finishing down at number 5 for this week. Shout out goes to, if you look at the chart now of the standings at the very end, I want to make a special shout out to Rugby Gamer 96. Granted, he got the spoon this week, which is the worst picks of week 2, but hey, he started playing this week. I give him a lot of credit because not a lot of people want to start in mid-season technically, but even though came in week 2, he's at number 11, and there's 13 people playing in this pool, so he's not at the bottom, which is great. So kudos to you, Rugby Gamer 96, and welcome to the pool. Hopefully you'll improve as the weeks go. But as you see, there's a new number 1, Scary Larry, establishing himself. Again, Scary Larry, well known in the SuperBru ranks, has a great mind for rugby, also does math. So he actually works at this. Well, again, mines are kind of shots in the dark. So he has reestablished himself as a force to be reckoned with here in the Rugby411 MLR Pick'em Pool. We also have a little bit of a wager of a Giltini 6-pack for, I believe, who ends up finishing the highest in our pool, which I'm fully behind. So Scary Larry, the ball is in your court now at number 1. All J Long with his dominant week number 2 is at number 2. I sadly dropped to number 3. Harry number 4, and SD California Guy, which I believe CA stands for, number 5. So those are our SuperBru pool standings. Remember, the person that ends up at the top of the pool at the end of the season wins a MLR t-shirt of their favorite team, of their choice, which I will provide for them. yeah, if I end up top of the pool, obviously nobody wins a t-shirt, so a lot of incentive for you guys to win. And again, if you want to join in, you can still jump into the pool. Rugby Gamer 96 did, and he's not doing too bad for missing a week. There's nothing to say you can't make a difference joining in week number 3. Just make sure if you're going to join in week number 3, there is a game on Friday, so you got to get your picks in now. Instructions on how to join into the pool are going to be in the description for the video below. And yeah, so good job, everybody. Thank you again for joining into the pool. I hope you guys have a lot of fun as I do with these pick'ems. And good luck. Make sure you get your picks in for week number 3. And we'll see how everybody does as we go into week number 4.